Hi guys, we're going to go over entering data now. What you're going to see here is the most recent upgrade of the system. So there are things changing on a few of these pages that you would have noticed a difference to. So again, right now I'm on video training, which obviously you guys got to because you're watching this. Again, I want to tell you, explaining the system is important because I've made some changes to it to update the wording to what we've actually got in the new system. Okay. All right. The first page is company setup. I no longer have over here originating entries. We've already gone over some of this. You've got the company name, addresses, and the bank. Informational purposes only. Informational purposes only. I showed you in the initial video how to change the dates. Now, one thing that for sure I've decided to change is I want you to only change this to whatever fiscal year you've got. So right now it's set for January to December. If it's July to June, you can go in and change this. Look at the last video if you don't remember how to do that. And some of the reasons are that, like, if you start entering in the middle of the year, that's fine. But what I don't want you to do is, let's say you just got this system or you're just starting to use the system in March and you say, well, let me put March as my first month. You're going to run into a problem when you get to your December, what would normally have been your December month, because it won't carry over to February in your case. All right, so you always want to start the first month with your fiscal year. Month 12 should always be the last month of your fiscal year. All right, chart of accounts. Again, this is the only thing you can change here is the account names that are in yellow. You'll see cash is not changed. You can't change cash, and you really can't change owner equity either. So which is right here, that's in white. You can't change that either. So again, I'm telling you, think about what accounts you need. Try to change those at the beginning of the year when you first start using the system, because if you decide, hey, I'm not gonna have any equipment that I would categorize as equipment. You're into the fourth month, you change the name of that name will change right through, so you won't know what you entered under equipment if you ever had any entries. If you never had an entry, it's really not a big deal. But if you have entries and then you just changed your mind, it's not a good idea. I'd rather see you use one of these open accounts. You'll see here if you had a prior version, I've identified a new account, a new asset. You've actually got 3 accounts here that have no name to them that you could use. Okay. Again, the same thing with liabilities. You've right now got 3 liabilities. Income, you've got 4 incomes there, that other incomes that you could use, rename. And expenses, you've got new expenses and also other expense 3, which it's 3 because I added some names to it. And again, you can change any of these. There are a lot of names here that you probably won't use. I originally set this up for someone who was investing in real estate, so maybe there's things in here that you won't need. Now the financial statements page, instead of having a bunch of zeros through here, if the month has no entries, you're going to see blanks. Okay, so this is just an example that I put in some stuff so that you could see what it looks like. But at the end, the system will go to the most recent numbers, and that will be, although it says it is year to date, it'll be your year end whenever you get to the last month of your fiscal year. All right, so down here, you'll see that as opposed to the way it is in each month where we have owner equity and any income or loss that was there, and the whatever liabilities that are there, you're going to find that over here I've lumped it all into the total owner equity, so that everything balances. You don't have to go back and look and see if things add up right. All right, so let's get started. Month one. One thing you want to do is always start at the top of the page. If you don't, you're gonna get an error. I'll show you. I'm gonna delete this. You'll see that value mean, oh, you got an empty space there, so it's not gonna work out. All right, so always start your system at the top of the page. Let's see what happens here. I'm gonna delete these. Okay, so I deleted everything off screen. I didn't want to spend the time on having you watch that. Now, this, if you don't put in a date, you don't have to, but if you got check numbers or however you're dispersing, you might use Zelle or there might be a debit to your account. It always helps you for reference sake to put in the information here, okay? So, all right. Check number, I'm going to say 100. Now, you've got a drop down vendor list here. There's nothing in it right now, and one of the tabs has actually lines set up so you can add vendors to it. But if you don't have that vendor in here, you can actually add the person in. I'm sorry, I got to put my glasses on. All right, so I'm going to tab over and say, let's say I did some work for them. Let's do a cash in. And the account name is going to be, now you could start actually inputting the first couple letters of the account if you know it's in the chart of accounts. Other income, I'm going to say. All right, other income 1. You'll see it goes right there, and that I've closed off lines here. There's a bunch of hidden account names that run across, and this automatically goes to that account name and inputs that so that you can go back to your financial statements and you'll see under month 1 other income right there in January, $10,000. So it gets recorded when you identify the account name and put it in here. The other thing I want you to realize is when you go to the financial statements, if there is a mistake, up here you're going to see error flash up, and then you got to figure out, what did I do that was wrong? So there are things that will trigger an error. If you put in a wrong name like that, Microsoft will pop up and say it doesn't exist. So I'm going to delete this just to show you. Now the account is gone. There's still you can see that the account still is there that you could have picked, but what's going to happen is that $10,000 isn't going to go anywhere, and now you're going to keep entering, and you forgot to put an account name in. If we go back to the financials, you'll see right here it says error. It's going to tell you something's wrong. A lot of times it's that you left out an account. And when we get to the month one general journal, it could be that you don't balance, and I'll show you the check for that one. So this is the way you would enter. Now I want to show you under the vendors. Which is, by the way, we've got a bunch of tabs hidden here. So the vendor tab right now is hidden. So I'm going to right click. There's an unhide. This is the way you do it. And customer vendor list is there. I'm going to open it up. And if I want to add these people to the vendor list, you just do it here. If you want to add address, email, information, that's just for informational purposes. Let me put in something so you see what I'm talking about. I'm going to say BC Automotive. Now that will be in my drop-down list, and anything I add to the drop-down list will show up. So it makes it convenient. If you know you're going to be using certain vendors all the time, put them on the list. It'll be here in the drop-down, and you'll always have them. You won't have to type it in, or you can just say, look, I could start with just a letter, and they're going to pop up. It'll make life easier for you. Okay, so that's basically it for this. The input is easy. You'll see down at the bottom, you're going to get what your cash balance, cash in, cash out. Let me do a cash out for you. All right, we're gonna reassign this so it doesn't screw things up. Cash out. So this is kind of like a checkbook, I guess you would say. Let's look at our expenses. I'm going to say auto expense. Now this is your running balance for cash. So you'll see I input a 10,000 cash in, 3,000 cash out. Now my balance is 7,000. Down here it totals cash out, cash in, 7,000. This down here, I have a check digit for something else, which doesn't need to be open. So I can right click, hide that, and you guys don't have to worry about it. Now let's go to the general journal. I've got some entries here. You got to know a little bit about accounting with this one. So let me clear this, and again, I'm not going to input I'm not going to put any of this in. You guys, date, check number or reference number, the vendor or payor, and debit, credit. If you're starting with a business that's already in existence, let's say you've got 25,000 in cash. We're gonna, and I'd like to see you do most of your, if not all of your cash, in your monthly cash journal, which is labeled month 1, month 2, month 3. If it's a general journal entry, it's GJ month 1, month 2, month 3, so on. So we can do cash here, and for opening balances that have multiple accounts, you can actually do that here. So I took away something in company setup, and when you're already in operation, you already have an existing business that have assets, liabilities, and equities, incomes and expenses. Here's where you've got to enter all of your opening balances when you're starting in this system. So let's say we debit cash, and now we have to have a corresponding credit. It has to balance. So I'm going to say $25,000 goes into owner equity. Okay, so rather than and now just to show you, you could do multiple debits and credits on this. I'm going to show you something. So on the cash statement, you'll see you can only do cash in, cash out, only one account really at a time. I don't want to confuse you, so I'm not going to say anything else. But like here, if we had the opening balances, I suppose if you wanted to put them in here, that would be fine. We could say 25,000 cash in for owner equity, and then just say equipment 10,000. We're gonna equipment, whatever is easiest for you. I'm going to say auto expense. And I'm going to say owner equity is the remainder, okay? So if we go to the financial statements, you're going to see month one is still balanced with all those entries. So you could do your opening balances there, and down here, it's not going to, you could be theoretically out of balance with your entries, and that's the problem with doing your entries in your cash journal. Now if I do it over here, I'm going to say my credit here is 10,000 for owner equity. Now I've got to put in expenses and other things in the debit column to make it balance, and if you go down to the bottom, you'll see it says error. It doesn't balance. If we go to the financial statements, there's an error. So you know right away that you left out some of your accounts. So there might be 15 accounts, and what I would do is, rather than putting in the owner equity right away, I think I would list all my assets in the debit column, all my liabilities in the credit column, and that way you'll know at the bottom it won't balance until you put your equity in, and it'll be the difference between your debits and your credits. Okay, so anyway, that's the way you do your entries. I don't think I left anything out. The big thing is you're going to get error messages here. You're going to have error messages. It'll have a value. So here you'll see I deleted the first line. It's going to have a value issue. Let me put something in here again. If I put an amount in, cash out. So now we're back to being able to have everything show up here. I can also like put an amount in and then forget to put an account in. It's going to tell you something's wrong again. You forgot, you put $1,000 in, but you didn't identify an account. So that's another check. But if you think everything's okay, and it periodically check your financial statements, and it'll come up with an error if there's a mistake. So you'll be in good shape. Okay, so we got an error message there. Let's see if it's over here in our. So the error message there, we got $1,000 here. Let's put a account name on it. Now we're balanced. Okay, so it showed that there was an error there. So what had happened was it picked up the $1,000 cash out, but it didn't know where it went. Okay, so that can show that will trigger an error. We take that out again. There's the error showing up again. So now I'm going to take you to the last sheet, which says year-end adjustments. It's really a trial balance. It's an ongoing trial balance. So that $1,000 that I put in without an account name, you're going to look down here and say, this doesn't balance. I got $7,000 in debits, $8,000 in credits. There's a $1,000 mistake somewhere, or there are two mistakes that come out to be $1,000. You go back to your month one journal, and we look. Oh, I never put an account name on that. That was my auto expense. All right, now let's go back to the trial balance, or the year-end adjustments. We take a look. Oh, it balances. Okay, we're good. All right, so that will be a big help to you as well. So I think that's it, guys, with the inputs. I do have other hidden tabs. So if you right click and you want to see them, you can unhide, and you'll see that there's a financial summary, which is charts. There's reconciliations for each month. Now, there's somewhat detailed reconciliations. I'm not going to go over that with you, but basically it's like you would reconcile on the sheet of your bank statement. You can use that instead, or you can use this reconciliation. And when you do that reconciliation, if you look at the monthly cash journals, you'll see there's a cleared bank thing. You can just X that so you know you got it. Whatever you want to do, a C, an X, it's up to you, so that you're not always going back, not knowing what cleared, what didn't clear. All right. Okay, guys, that's it. This was a long video, longer than I wanted it, but I'll try to keep them down, but I want to make sure you guys understand everything that's going on.